Welcome.
Welcome.
Housewives of True Crime.
I feel like I've been not been giving enough deep, sexy welcomes
I
lately.
think you might be right. You haven't.
So
I'm
making up for
trying.
lost time.
Okay. Welcome,
Yeah.
Housewives of True Crime. Welcome
hmm
to all our new listeners.
Oh my God,
We,
welcome.
yeah, it's like a summer, what do they call that? A summer fling. You know, when you had that when you weren't married?
Oh, maybe they like binged.
I
I
don't
don't know if
know.
I feel bad for them or happy for them because it's like I think we get better. If they started at the beginning and they're still with
Oh,
us, then maybe they're like pleasantly surprised.
dude,
I
listen.
don't know. If you go
Yeah.
backwards, though, they might ditch us at the end. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Some of our first ones are some of my favorite ones, but maybe it's because I haven't listened to them in 2 years.
A minute.
A minute.
Yeah.
So I think I mean, and I think our listeners know that are on our Instagram and some of the Facebook stuff that I went to Six Flags.
Six Flags. That's right. How was that amusement park in the summer in Texas?
It
That
was,
sounds like a dream. I would love nothing more
well,
than to be in the sun,
you'll never
sweat,
guess, but it's raining again here. Yep. It's
long
the
lines. It's
thunderstorm.
raining.
It's so it was one of those days that was supposed to be thunderstorms that was on the forecast. And so I was like, let's chance it. Even though I know they probably shut down the roller coasters, I was like, let's chance it. Maybe less lines.
Yeah. How does that work?
I'm sure they
You
don't.
can't
I don't
you
know
can't be roller
because,
coastering when it's thundering. You
yeah,
get
but guess
struck
what?
by something.
Bypassed us. So no problem out. No problem.
Okay.
But
You
I'll tell
gambled
you
and
what
won.
did happen. My
What?
husband and my daughter got stuck on a roller coaster.
Damn it.
Yeah, and I got kind of freaked out because I saw them going around, right? I'm like watching, and then all of a sudden they're not getting off. And everybody gets off the like people are coming, walking, and then I notice like a big group of people walking, and I'm like, "Oh shit, they shut the roller coaster down." And nowhere to be found in my family. I'm like, "What the heck?" So I look, I can kind of see through a fence and I see an ambulance and I
Oh,
flipped the fuck out.
shoots.
I mean,
Yeah.
my heart was like in my chest. What happened? Did my husband have a heart attack? I run over through the like, don't come this way. And it just happened to be that the ambulance was just on the other side of the fence for something completely opposite, not having to do with the park.
That
It was,
doesn't surprise me. You do jump to panic,
I,
like 0 to panic.
yes,
That's your
quickly.
range.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
No. Thankfully, they just were stuck and they got out 20 minutes. But my husband was like, I pushed the harness down extra hard because it was one of those like loop-de-loop ones. So
Oh,
when
I'd freak out. I would think like maybe you would push it too hard and then it would like spring back. Like I would be afraid to touch anything.
oh, no, he said he pushed it too
See,
hard when
I
he got
like
on
next
it.
level panic.
No, he was like, I was so claustrophobic. I couldn't breathe in it. It was so tight on me. But
Oh, that's
anyways,
traumatic.
yeah, other than that, it was fine. It's hot, but I figure, I went to Magic
Oh,
Mountain in California, hot as balls in the
I know, but the
summertime
long
too.
lines, I hate amusement parks in the summer. I mean, I'm doing it one more time this summer, but I'm not like it's not my favorite. They serve drinks at the Six Flags in
Dude,
Texas.
they do serve drinks.
Well, they
They
got that
have
working for it.
they have a bar there. They have Babe Rosé, which is my favorite type of
Ooh,
rosé. They sell beers. I mean, it definitely has its perks for sure.
all right. Well,
Uh,
you are really just getting started. I know you've been stuck there in the Texas because of the kid doing the All-Stars.
I know.
Baseball is balls. Yeah.
Baseball
But
is
over here,
over.
balls, literally. Now it's over. Um, Oh, from here, we've been traveling,
I
just
know, I'm
traveling
so
fools.
jealous.
I know, but I think I'm ruining my children because they wake up in the morning and they're like, "Where are we
Where are we
going?"
going? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, "This is it. This is it. In
But no,
fact,
you're
this is
going
gonna
somewhere
be it."
else.
I know, on, like, Tuesday. Yeah, but every day at home is, like, not eventful enough for them.
Okay, so I'm going to Florida Tuesday.
That's eventful.
It is, and I'm so excited because we haven't been able to go anywhere all of June. Somebody just told me we're already 5 weeks in summer, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I haven't done anything," and that is not like my typical
Not
self.
like you.
And some crazy tropical storm is on its way to Florida, so please pray that it bypasses where we're going. It's supposed to
Yeah,
touch
maybe
down on
check the
Tuesday.
building codes of wherever you're
I
staying.
know, right? Seriously, we're
Boy, that
actually
building is terrible.
yeah, well, you looked it up, did you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, awful.
Awful.
I mean, I hope I don't even know. I mean, I don't think there's no hope at this point.
No, it's terrible.
Did you know somebody, like a grandson of one of the couples that was missing, kept getting phone calls over and over from the grandparents' home line, house line.
No way.
Yeah, weird,
Oh, totally.
kind of creepy. So,
Creepy.
anyways,
Anyways, that's a total fucking drag. Um,
yeah, it is.
mhm.
Sorry. You want to talk about crime, which also is a total
Yeah, let's
fucking
talk
drag?
about crime. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You ready for this
All
case, Gretch?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
The case this week, actually, I have thought about a lot over the years, and one that a lot of people I know are near and dear to. So I'm going to be as gentle as possible. I think we always are really gentle, but I'm just saying. This
Yeah.
case comes out of Ventura, California, our hometown.
Really?
If you don't know a lot about Ventura, it's a beach town in between Malibu and Santa Barbara with a more casual vibe, I would say.
Yeah, like that makes it sound fancy. It's not fancy.
I know it's not fancy. It has a population of just over 110,000. And in the last 10 years, the price of real estate has really come up. Gretch, have you looked at home prices in the area?
Yes. Yes. Ventura be
It's
expensive.
freaking bananas.
Yeah.
So you can get a small 1,300 square foot home for 750,000, and that is not anywhere close to the beach.
Yeah.
And if you want to get closer to the beach, which you can't even really get that close to the beach, you're talking a couple million bucks.
Yeah.
Ironically, it has a very large coastline, but like I said, there's not that many homes on the beach, and I was kind of wondering about that. So I looked it up because whoever did the city planning did not plan with like ocean view homes. There's like Pierpont. That's it. And this is why.
Okay. Yeah, there's a
Do you know
small
why?
community of like lanes down to the beach. Yeah.
But do you
Yeah.
know why?
Right. Why?
Because it was a farming town. And
Yeah.
all the farms and orchards and lemon orchards and orange orchards were east in the east side of Ventura. So that's where all the homes were built.
Well, yeah.
That's
My family's from there. My grandparents, when they lived down there, Pierpont, the little beach area, which is like full of little like bungalows that have slowly over the years been knocked down and turned into, McMansions.
yes.
Um, but there's a lot of those bungalows still there. It said that was the bad part of town to live in, was
Yeah,
the
that's
beach when
yeah,
she
that's
was
what
growing up.
my grandma and grandparents they were in the lemon orchard business and that's what they said too. Like they were like there was no way we were going to buy something near the beach. It was just not a thing, but now it's a
Yeah.
thing. So Um,
Yeah.
Also, the land in Ventura and Oxnard it's real rich for growing like fruits and vegetables. You guys have probably all had strawberries from Oxnard.
Get your strawberries.
If you live in the United States of America, that's where you get your strawberries from. So anyways,
True.
let's take you back to June of 1997. I was 17 years old. Prices of homes
Hmm.
were way more affordable. Things were really mellow. Cell phones were just starting to be used around town, but no one I knew had one. Did you have one?
Yeah, I did. I was
You
2 years
did?
older than you. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, People were proud to wear flip-flops. Still are. It's very like
Still
surfer vibe.
are.
What? Still
Yeah.
are, right?
They still are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a very chill environment, I think, especially for only being an hour away from Los Angeles, where it's way more like fancy and hustle and bustle. I s- we would go to like LA if we want to go to a club, but the Fast and the Furious stopped right before it got to Ventura.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to talk about somebody that was from Ventura and on a road to great success, as many of us Venturians were, like you and I, Gretch.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at
Pillar
us
of the
now.
community. Yeah.
His name was Jake Bush. Jake was a 16, almost 17-year-old going to be a senior in high school. He was a great student. And when I say great, I mean a teacher's dream. He carried around his TI 83 calculator. Remember those?
Yeah. Texas Instruments. Where it's at.
I don't even think, by the way, that I was in a math class that got up to
Require
needing one of
one
those
of those
calculators.
scientific calculators.
No, I don't think so. He also learned how to code his own games on that calculator, which,
Oh shit, I had no idea what coding was until I had like kids.
okay, that's what I was thinking. Um,
Yeah.
he was real proud to show his teachers and his friends his ability to code in a time that coding was just really becoming a thing. Like you and I said, we didn't even know what coding was at that time. I think Jake could have very well been a Mark Zuckerberg type. Um, he was studious. And you know what else he was? He was athletic, which is a dream child. He was the
Yeah, really.
star on the track team, and he was gearing up to be the track captain his senior year at Buena High School. You see, Jake and
Okay. So
I
that is not the high school I attended.
it isn't, but it is the high school that I attended, and Jake and I were
Yeah.
classmates. He and I had gone to school
Okay.
since we're freshmen in high school. I also ran track, once you know, my freshman year.
I
But
did not know that.
I did. I did. I would say that I ran it because I didn't want to do PE.
Hmm.
And while Jake was probably running for the gold, I was running to stop it. I stopped at Baskin Robbins because that's where our friend's sister worked, and we could get like free scoop of ice cream on our way. And
Yeah.
then I stopped at El Torito and got some chips and salsa.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I took the shortcut back to the track field. So I
That
was
sounds about right. Yeah.
definitely not the golden child.
Yeah.
However, I do wish that I had the athletic ability. I just didn't have the drive, right? I have the drive now, and my tennis and pickleball skills they're pretty good, but had I like had that in high school, I think I could have gone somewhere. Just saying. But Jake had the drive.
Okay.
Okay? He was motivated. I was not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Jake's drive would be changed forever on June 24th, 1997. It was a typical summer day. I am sure it was overcast, June gloom, and about 70 degrees. And Jake was headed out bright and early with his mom to get his driver's license. They went to Santa Paula to take the driving test. No judgment,
That's how you
but
do it.
Santa Paula is where it's easier to pass than Ventura.
Yeah.
Did you go to Santa Paula?
I didn't go to Santa Paula, but I took many friends there, and everybody in Ventura knows that's where you go when you don't want to wait in line at the DMV. I have waited in line at that DMV when my license was expired and I needed, you know, a
Where
new
it
one and stuff like that.
in Santa Paula?
Mhm.
Oh, I never went there actually. Took my driver's test at Ventura, got 100%. Just saying.
Oh, I got 71. I
Oh my
passed by 1 point.
God, Gretchen.
I think I failed the first time too.
Oh my God. My microphone just dropped because the mic drop. You're that bad at your driving. That's why you can't even drive now, hardly.
That's true. That's true.
When Gretchen comes, when I'm in her car, she's like, "Why don't you just drive? You're a better driver than me." Um, okay,
Because
so
we fight when I drive. You're like, "Change lanes, go faster, blah, 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 blah." Like, she's all up in my grill about stuff. I'm like, "You just take the wheel."
okay, good. Yes, that's better.
Yeah.
So Jake and his mom returned home from getting his driver's license, and then they went out again to run one more errand. And upon returning home, Jake and his mom, they walked in the house. They go on as normal, and Jake notices his screen is off and his window stick, that locks the window. Um, if you don't have like good locks, you put an extra, stick in your window. Um, that was missing. A few things looked weird in his room, and he knows that somebody's been in his house. So he calls for his mom to tell her, and she immediately dials 911. As Gail, his mom, is calling 911 on the phone with an operator, Jake goes and checks the living room and the study to see if anything has been taken. She's talking to the dispatcher and she hears Jake yell. And when she goes to see what has happened, he says, "He stabbed me and he is on the ground bleeding." Gail is now pleading with the operator to get help and starts giving Jake CPR. The intruder must have been hiding in the study when Jake walked in, and he stabbed him 3 times, and the guy ran out the front door. Gail tried everything she could, giving her son CPR before help arrived, and immediately he was taken to the local hospital where he underwent surgery, and things started to look hopeful. But unfortunately, after hours on the operating table, Jake succumbed to his injuries and died. Do you remember this, Gretchen?
No, I don't, but you said this happened in 1997, and in 1997, I was already had beelined out of Ventura and moved to
Were you
San
in San Diego?
Diego.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought so. So the town was devastated, especially the east side of town, as we call it. That's where Jake lived. He lived in a well-known track called the Bird Track. Remember that? You know
Yeah.
where that is?
Yeah.
Um, and in the Bird Track, stuff like this just did not happen. Or to me, it felt like it didn't happen. We lived real close to the Bird Track, and I had a bunch of friends that lived in there. And it's your standard neighborhood with houses pretty close together, kids riding their bikes all around, super flat streets, right behind a grocery store called Ralph's. And I think this pretty much shocked the whole entire neighborhood. When police got to the house, the investigators treated it more like a burglary and less like a homicide. And I guess at the time, it's pretty much what it was for a couple hours, anyways. They started searching for fingerprints in all the obvious spots, and the intruder went. They lifted a palm print from Jake's bedroom window, but other than that, they could not find any full fingerprints and nothing that would direct them to a certain individual. I don't know why there weren't more fingerprints. I can only think, like, maybe he was wearing gloves and when he needed to, like, open the window, he had to take them off, or maybe he just got into the house when Jake and his mom came home.
Or maybe they sucked at their job looking for fingerprints.
So that's also possible. Yes. And maybe they didn't look everywhere because they were not treating it as a homicide. I don't know. But with only one palm print, things were not looking so hot. That is until they found a fresh mound of poop in Gail's laundry basket.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, this shitty fuck actually took a dump on Gail's clothes. I mean, who does that? That is so freaking disgusting. So they have a pile of shit and a palm print until later that night they found the knife also that this guy used in a neighbor's yard. And actually, the police didn't even find it. The neighbor found it in his front yard.
So
So
this dude is wearing gloves to cover up his fingerprint, but leaving his DNA in the form of a dump behind. I guess it was 1997, so maybe
that's
you weren't like thinking like how
no, you weren't.
incredibly stupid that is.
No, you weren't thinking how stupid that is.
But leaving the weapon behind, that's stupid.
It is, but there were no
No matter what year it
fingerprints.
is.
There were no fingerprints on the weapon either. So that's what makes me think he might have been wearing gloves.
Yeah,
But
I
the
agree.
knife that they did collect, it was the same knife to kill Jake, but there were no fingerprints lifted. Police were on a hunt, and come to find out, Jake was not the only one that saw this intruder that day. The killer was actually roaming the streets of the neighborhood that morning for a place to rob. He went knocking on doors, and it seems like he was like knocking and then asking for a friend. And then, whoever answered the door would be like, no, that I know a teenager that lives that way kind of thing.
Yeah.
A couple 11-year-old girls that were riding their bike in the neighborhood saw him going door to door and then saw him running out of the house with a worried look on his face. These two gave a very good description of the man, and along with the people that actually answered the door that day, they said he's between 18 and 20 years old. He's Hispanic and he's real short. And with all those people's descriptions, they actually put a composite sketch together, but no one turned him in. The sketch was distributed and time would pass, and Jake's killer was free to live his life. I cannot imagine how frustrating it is that people actually saw this man in the middle of the day, but they could not find him. Someone had to know something. Someone was hiding this guy's secret, or maybe he was hiding his own secret. But I feel like that would eat at you over the years.
Certainly.
And after 17 years of being free to have his relationships, have kids, have his life, the man that killed Jake slipped up.
Oh.
And thankfully, the Ventura PD unit for unsolved cases were on it. So in 1997, palm prints were not taken when criminals were booked, but in 2014, they were. So the Unsolved Case Division found a match. A man that was on work furlough for selling stolen goods on Craigslist named Marco Antonio Casillas was the man who matched that palm print. And, work furlough, it's like a form of being in jail. Like you can go to work, but then you have to go back to
And then,
jail.
yeah. Hmm.
So actually, Marco had quite a rap sheet of burglarizing and having stolen goods. He had spent years in prison. after Jake's incident for not murder, but burglary. But those dots never were connected until 2014, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, crazy shit be happening at the Ventura PD. That's how they found the Golden State Killer,
I know.
was the DNA sample that was collected in Ventura. Fun fact.
It is a fun fact. It's maybe they have a lot more DNA samples they need to start looking through. Just saying.
At least they're good at taking the samples
Yeah, that's true. And keeping them.
and keeping them. Yeah.
Yeah. So detectives decide to interview Marco at his employment to get him to talk. They acted as if they needed help figuring out why people burglarize since he's been doing it for years. Basically,
I
he
love it when they
said,
do shit like that.
I know, I like it too. Basically, they
Like
say,
when they ask all the deadbeat dads to like come to Dodger Stadium for like a free game and then they arrest them all. Like, I love that shit.
oh my God, that is so funny. So yeah, he says, you know what? They do it for the thrill, unless they're drug addicts, and then they do it to pawn shit off. He never said which one he was, but I have this feeling he was doing it for the thrill, especially from like taking a dump. Like you don't do that because you
Totally.
need cash for your meth, you know? Okay, so he was asked about some like robberies in Oxnard and he admitted to all of them, which he got caught for. So I guess it's like he has to admit to them. But he was asked about a Ventura robbery and he was like, nope, never robbed in Ventura, never went to Ventura. And I think he probably never did after killing Jake. Um, I think he mainly stuck to Oxnard. But I also think he probably he never killed again. So it definitely was one of those he was startled in the middle of robbing and he had a weapon. So after the interview with him at his work furlough, they served a search warrant where they got his computer and they tested his DNA of the fecal matter. And of course, guess what? It all
Matchy
matched.
matchy.
Matched. And on the computer, they found searches for DNA, including DNA of human feces and how to cheat a DNA swab test. His
Can you
laptop.
do that?
No, I don't
Can you
think
cheat a
so.
DNA
I
test?
mean, yeah, you can get somebody else's swab. I mean, I guess
Oh,
that's the only way.
so that's comforting to know he's at least been sweating it while he's been walking free.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure this ate at him because I don't think he's actually like a killer. He's not going out to murder people in their
Yeah.
houses. He was getting a thrill of actually breaking in and maybe, taking something. I don't know. His laptop also showed searches for unsolved murders in Ventura County and the elements necessary for the crime of murder in California. So he's guilty. But guess what? The guy, he pleads not guilty. And of course, puts Jake's family through a trial, which
Balls.
I think it's a big mistake for multiple reasons. One, I think he probably would have got a much lesser sentence had he pled guilty.
Totally.
We just talked about this on Patreon, right? Um, that sometimes when you plead guilty, especially this kind of crime, maybe the judge would have been a little bit lenient on him
Yeah, I mean,
after
if they
so
have
many
your
years.
DNA, the only I mean,
Yeah, they have your
you're
DNA,
you're
dude.
toast. Yeah.
Yes.
You're not gonna get anything better than a plea deal. I mean, if it's circumstantial, yeah, fine, go up against trial, but you're
His
you're
his
done.
defense was that he was there, but he was he could have been there before, and somebody else came in after to kill Jake.
No, no,
I
no,
mean, it
no,
doesn't work
no.
like that. And then the other thing was they played Jake's mom's 911 call to the jury, and people were in tears.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
the audience was in tears, the jurors were in tears. And I think it made this case way more real after so many years. And I know judges are like supposed to be impartial, but they're also human. So I think that
Yeah.
it could have affected his sentence time. And Marco now was in his late 30s. He had made a huge mistake when he was 19 years old, but it was time for justice to be served and for Jake's family to have some justice. And it was clear that this guy was freaking guilty. So in 2017, he was finally sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So that is where he is now. And I tried to find Jake's mom. Her name is so his name actually was James Bush, but he went by Jake. And her name was Gail or is Gail Shirley, but I couldn't find her unless she moved. But and so I hope
Well,
that
she probably did. Why would you I wouldn't wanna stay in the same, like, town and everything if something that traumatic happened to me there.
I know. So I don't know, but that is this sad story of Jake Bush. His life was taken way too early, you know. Definitely
Mhm.
think he could have been something special. And his friends, like I tried to look in my yearbook to see if he ever signed it or anything, but he didn't. I looked through all of them. Um, he wasn't we were not in the same friend group, but I knew who he was, and I have some friends. One of them recently, was just posting about him, and, you know, she's they say that he was just, like, a really kinda cool kid that could have hung out in any group, but chose to kinda hang out with, like, the nerdier group, I guess, if you wanna say, like, the guys that actually probably are
The guys that
making
are actually
something of
cool when
themselves
you go to the
today.
high school reunion,
The ones
yeah,
that
that
the
are
ones that I
like
actually wanna marry.
yeah, that are
That's
like,
what I'm
"Yeah,
saying.
look at me now." Like,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No, it is a trip. I have, over the years through Facebook found out that classmates of mine have died that if there was no Facebook, I would have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
And it's strange how it affects you. You feel like some kinda way, like, "Ugh." I mean,
I know.
I hadn't thought about you in 20 years, but I hate to think you're
Not here
not
anymore.
here. Yeah.
I know, I know. So, that's a wop, as you would say.
Mhm.
I want to ask you guys if you have not, because there's a lot of new listeners, if you have not given us a rating on Apple and you listen to us on Apple, please do so. Um, we like 5 stars, but I guess if you don't think we're a 5 star, then don't rate us.
Yeah, don't
I mean,
bother.
it's
No, thank you.
we're whores like that. Okay.
Yeah,
Also, if you
true.
guys want to shout out, please tag us on Facebook or Instagram. And I have one person that did no, I have multiple, but this one in particular, shop underscore Estella online. Thank you so much for shouting us out this week. Um, and then okay, so Mrs. Fadad,
Did she write?
she did. She she posted it and she said she thought you said it, but or she thought I said it, but she was like dying from tab saying Sherry fat dad. Uh so she said she's now going by that. Um
I didn't say it though. I said I am not gonna say that.
but you did.
I'm tempted to, but I'm not gonna. So, what is the proper pronunciation?
I don't know.
Oh, shoot, Sherry, you gotta give us one of those, like, phonetical
I know, right?
diagrams.
I think it's Fadad.
Okay, Fadad. Thanks for being a good sport, Sherry.
I know. But Sherry, please, yeah, I would love to like have it phonetically. spelt out so we can actually
properly.
properly thank you. And then April's _art20. Thank you so much for shouting us out also and sending us a little note. We love when we get messages from you guys. And if you haven't followed us on Housewives of True Crime group on Facebook or Instagram, Housewives of True Crime, or if you want to know any of our dieting tips and tricks, especially from Lisa Ann, who is, she's like the best.
Yeah, she's really the only one that follows the diets.
Yeah, she is.
Snaps, Lisa. And
she's on the whole 30 now. So I'm really
Lord,
interested in that.
have mercy. And during the summer, forget
No,
about
I
it.
know. Somebody also was like, who's starting on July 1st is 75 hard. I'm like, not I, said the fly.
Why would you do that? Why
No,
would you do that to yourself?
I can't do
You
that.
can eat,
You cannot.
there's hot dogs and
Hot dogs.
White Claws to be drunk. Like, I mean,
seriously, this is 4th
not
of
on the
July,
4th of
people.
July. Hello.
No.
Yeah. Well, I also would like to say it's the last time we asked for cases was like in March.
Okay, you need some?
Yeah, we could. I feel like it's time. We could
Okay.
use some. So send them our way, people.
Yeah. For shizzle, my nizzle.
Yeah, whatever you want to hear, send them our way. You can email us, DM us,
housewifestruecrime@gmail.com.
post it in the group. We'll see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We will. And I hope all of you guys had a happy 4th. That was yesterday. Not for us.
Did too. I hope I did too.
And hopefully you had a happy 4th. Hopefully you're having a happy 4th. You have company coming over. I have lots of company over.
The whole family.
Oh God, it's already starting. It's fun.
Oh shoot. Super fun.
If you guys want to hear more of us and more talk about secret stuff, you can go to Housewives of True or Patreon, $5 a month. And it's patreon.com/Housewives of True Crime to get all the details of more Tab and Gretch. And Gretchy does a true crime
bonus
once a month. And it's always a good one, Gretch. She gives us, the secret lives of
oh, God.
cults.
One crime I did was actually, I do a lot of cult stuff like that, but I did Ryan Lochte. Remember how I fell in love with him?
Yeah.
He didn't pass the Olympic trials.
Oh, I was waiting to find out. No, he
my
didn't.
God.
Oh, and this is probably like his last shot, dude. He's a little old.
Listen, I am just heartbroken over it. I was really rooting for him.
Yeah, you were.
I think the COVID-19, that delay, I think it slowed him down.
Totally. Slowed everybody down. You know what I'm saying? Probably put on a few extra pounds. Probably, spent a little more time with his kids like he should have. All that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anyhow, on to our vacation.
Vacation away.
Let's hope that tropical storm just slows its roll in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. All right. Clink, clink, everybody.
Okay. Clink, clink.
Bye.